What's up YouTube? I'm Trent Wel-Don. Welcome back to my channel, Wel-Don Aquatics. Guys, tonight I want to show you how it really is quite easy to drill a glass tank and get it ready for an auto water change system. Alright guys, so my purpose is to drill a glass tanker is primarily for my auto water change system. That way I can, flow water in, flow water out, never have to carry a bucket again. But you can also drill a glass tank if you want to add an overflow box, if you want to really get a sump going on it. There's going to be various reasons why you want to drill a glass tank. And at first you think like drilling glass, that's crazy, that's going to be hard. It's quite simple, it really is. And there's just a few things we need to get started. So the first why we drill a glass tank is we're going to install a bulkhead. Now what is a bulkhead? A bulkhead is a plumbing part that is going to allow us to create a watertight seal through the tank and attach additional plumbing parts to it. So once we get that hole drilled, we're going to slip this through the hole and take the nut and screw that on. Now the gasket on this will go on the inside of the tank, so it sits relatively flush with the tank, and this is a slit version. You can get threaded versions. This is a 1-inch bulkhead. I tend to like 1-inch bulkheads on all my tanks. Just an easy size to work with. I can find plenty of plumbing parts for it, and it doesn't tend to get clogged as often. You can get like 1/2-inch bulkheads, 2-inch bulkheads. Same concept though. Drill, slip it in, thread that nut on, and you're set to go. Now, be careful when threading this nut on, is you do not want to over tighten it. You can actually either crack the bulkhead or crack your glass. So I recommend only hand tightening this. Don't take pliers and crank down on it. But these are a nifty plumbing part. So the next thing we're gonna need is obviously a drill. So I use a cordless drill. I find it works just as well as a corded drill. Just make sure you have a full charge battery. But we're also going to need a diamond coated drill bit. Now that is what's going to allow us to drill through that glass without much issue. So I'm using a 45mm diamond coated drill bit, which will then accept a 1-inch bulkhead through that hole we're drilling. Now I purchased this off bulkreefsupply.com. They have an excellent supply. They can help you understand what you need. So I say though, a diamond coated drill bit is necessary to drill through a glass tank. Now, this is a brand new one, so it's gonna cut much easier. We'll talk more as we start drilling how many tanks I think you can get off, one drill bit per se if you got a bunch of tanks to drill. Because it is winter, I'm gonna be drilling this down in my basement. If this was in the summer, I would take this tank outside and run a hose on the drill bit to keep it cool. But since I'm inside, we're going to use some plumber's putty. Now this is a stain-free plumber's putty. It's really simple to work with. If you ever play with Play-Doh as a kid, that's almost exactly what it is. What's going to allow us to do though is create a watertight barrier that we can then fill up with some water to help keep that drill bit cool and drill the tank. So that's all we need to do this. And once you do it once, you're gonna be a pro at it. So let's go drill this tank. All right, so we've got the towel down in the tank. That way as water leaks through, but also primarily it's gonna catch the glass piece that we are going to be cutting out. And since I'm doing this inside, I won't be running a hose directly to it for water purposes. I'm going to be using the plumber's putty. And that's just pretty cheap stuff. So the plumber's putty, it's stain free like we talked about. And so we're also going to take that bulkhead we talked about and kind of match up, get an idea of where do we want this bulkhead to be on this tank. And then so I leave some couple inches from the side, maybe an inch or two from the top. You want to make sure it's not going to compromise the integrity of the tank. But then we're going to use that plumber's putty. And I like to do a really wide arc to give you plenty of room to work with here. We're going to take that plumber's putty and form a barrier around where we are going to drill so that we may have water right here, and it's going to retain that water and help keep that drill bit dry like we talked about. So with this plumber's putty, we can now add water in here and drill without an issue, and we may have to stop in between, add a little bit more water here and there. And if you convince somebody to help, you know, kind of keep pouring water on the drill bit, that can help too. But there we go. So we're going to get some water in and get started drilling. Now, one thing you want to do too before you start actually drilling is decide what side of the tank's going to be the front and what side of the tank's going to be the back. And once you drill it, it's done. And then if you're going to be using a cordless drill like I am, I recommend making sure your battery is full, because we're going to want this drill bit spinning at a high rate as long as we can to make sure we get a clean cut. So that's where a corded drill does come in handy, because you're not going to have to worry about running out of power or anything of that nature. But a cordless will work. So again, we have our diamond coated drill bit, and we're going to start drilling. So the initial cut is the hardest to get going, but once you start, just let the drill do the work. Don't put pressure on it. You're just going to have to hold it there. Hold it steady and just let it do the work. I've tried some guides. I have a hard time with them. I found it just easier to freehand it. So like I say, once you start, the most important thing is just let the weight of the drill do the work. And really, it's not as scary as it may seem. So here we go. And really, guys, it is simple as that. We are through. So here we are. So I say it's as easy as that. It's not as scary as people think it is. The first time you do it, you're freaking out. You're afraid you're going to shatter your tank. Just go steady. Try not to stop. And we're through. So really, I say it's easy to drill a glass tank. Once you do it once, you'll be a pro at it. So it can take a couple minutes to get through a tank. This is a 33-gallon tank, 33 long, so it's not very thick glass. We got through a lot quicker, and this is a brand new drill bit. I think a drill bit can get you between anywhere from 5 to 8 tanks, just depending on what size of tank and how thick the glass is. So thicker the glass, the longer it's going to take to get through. But really, guys, that is it. So I hope this helps. Hope it gave you a little bit of encouragement to drill a glass tank, and we'll see you in the next one.